Okay, so let us continue the discussion on registration. We have already covered 4 sections of registration in the previous lectures, section 22, 23, 24, 25. And today we will cover remaining sections of registration 26, 27, 28. 29 and 30 we will discuss in the next lecture. So still there are 5 sections left for registration. And out of those 5 today we will cover 3 sections 26, 27 and 28. Now what basically we will cover in these sections that you must know. We have already covered those sections which deals with the persons who should take registration, the persons who are exempt from obtaining registration, and what is the procedure of registration. Now section 27, 26 deals with deemed registration. Deemed registration, I will discuss that with you. Section 27 deals with special procedure of registration for casual taxable person and non-resident taxable person. Section 28 deals with amendment in registration particulars. Section 29 deals with cancellation of registration or suspension of registration, and section 30 deals with revocation of cancellation. So let me discuss this with the help of my notepad, that what sections are left and what we will cover today. So let me share the screen now. So registration. I told you that there are 9 sections, 22, 23, 24, 25. These are covered. And now what is left is 26. It talks about deemed registration. Deemed. I will tell you in detail now. First, let me tell you the purpose of those sections. 27 talks about special provisions. I hope the screen is visible. Special provisions of registration related to a casual taxable person and a non-resident taxable person. These people have special provisions. Then 28, it deals with amendment of registration. For example, I want to change some information which I have submitted earlier. 29 deals with cancellation of registration certificate, where my registration will be cancelled, or at least if not cancelled, then suspension. Suspension of registration. And section 30. Now, if by mistake the certificate cancellation order has been issued by mistake, then revocation. Or if not by mistake, I want, for example, it was because of my mistake means mistake not on the part of the department, mistake on the part of the person. So department gives me some time to modify that. If I modify it, then the cancellation order can be revoked. So revocation of cancellation of registration. That cancellation can be treated as invalid, you can say revoke. Now these 5 are left. Now today I will wind up 26, 27 and 28. So I will show you the act later on. Let me simplify that directly. Section 26 talks about deemed registration. Section 26. And what do I mean by this? Now, if you remember, registration under GST is state-wise or union territory-wise. Now, under GST, there are so many taxes paid: IGST, CGST, SGST, UTGST, compensation cess, etc. Different taxes paid. For these different taxes, you don't need separate registration. Single registration is sufficient. I don't need separate registration for paying integrated tax. I don't need separate registration number for paying central tax, state tax, union territory tax, or compensation cess. Single registration is sufficient. Now the next question is, in India, who will give me the certificate? Either something is center or something is state or UT. Now technically center particularly doesn't have a place of its own, only state or UT has. And as we have already covered in section 25, in section 1 as well as in 2, that GST registration is technically state wise. That means I have to apply in each state or UT from where I am making the taxable supply, but there is nothing to apply as far as center is concerned. So that is why what is mentioned is that application for grant of registration or granting of registration or unique identity number, because these two things are available, either registration, and in exceptional cases like embassies, United Nations offices, we don't have registration, you will be assigned unique identity number. So this, who will grant these? State or union territory. So these are granted under SGST Act or UTGST Act. These are granted under SGST Act or UTGST Act. Now this grant will be deemed to be, it will be deemed to be by default granted under CGST Act also, by default. So you don't need separate registration number. So whatever is the registration certificate granted by the state or union territory, as the case may be, that is by default treated as granted for the purpose of central tax also. This is my first point in section 26. Similarly, any rejection of application of registration or application of UIN, any rejection of application of registration or UIN under, because if they can give, states can give or UT give, they of course have a right to reject also. So if any application has been rejected under any state or UT GST Act, by default it is deemed to be rejected. By default it is deemed to be rejected under CGST Act. This is what my section 26 is. I hope it is clear. Let me share with you the act now. This is what my section 26 as written in the act. You can read it till this point, that much is sufficient. Section subsection 1, the grant of registration or the unique identity number under the SGST Act or UT GST Act shall be deemed to be the grant of registration or the UIN under this Act. So which Act we are studying? CGST Act. This is what I have told you. And second point is what? You can start reading from here. Any rejection of application for registration or the unique identity number under the State Act or UT GST Act shall be deemed to be the rejection of application of registration under CGST Act. So that's all which I have discussed with you as far as section 26 is concerned, and that is only the thing which is relevant. Now let me come to next section, section 27. Special provisions related to casual taxable person and a non-resident taxable person. Now this is my next section. Casual taxable person and non-resident taxable person. Now I hope you remember section 25. Do you remember section 25 subsection 1 where it was mentioned that the moment you become liable, the moment your aggregate turnover exceeds the limit, you become liable to register. This is what section 25(1) says. The moment if aggregate turnover exceeds the limit 20 lakh or 10 lakh, whatever is the case, then you become liable to register. Register within how many days? Do you remember? It is within 30 days.
30 days.
Yeah. But if you remember that exception also, do you remember the exception? Exception, if you remember that provision, exception says that in case of casual taxable person and non-resident taxable person, then the limit is not 30 days. In fact, the limit is at least 5 days prior, at least 5 days prior to the date of commencement of registration. It was mentioned. Date of, it was mentioned in section 25 subsection 1 as it is. Date of commencement of registration. That means there was something special. That is why for others the time limit given is start the business and in fact do the business. When your turnover does not exceed the limit, no need to register, no need to take registration. But in these cases, when you are a casual taxable person and non-resident taxable person, it does not matter what is your aggregate turnover. In fact, before starting the business, at least 5 days before starting the business, you should take registration. So this limit doesn't work in case of casual taxable person and non-resident taxable person by default, because you are not allowing me to start the business. So how can I so when can I decide whether my turnover exceeded the limit or not? In fact, I should take the registration before starting the business. So aggregate turnover concept does not work in these two cases by default. I hope you understood what my point. Okay, aggregate turnover concept will not work here because we have to take the registration 5 days before starting the business. And that is why section 27 specially tells you some provisions which are applicable to these class. So what are those special provisions? First point, if you remember, what is the document required? Normally PAN number, but document required for a non-resident taxable person is, do you remember what document was required? Rather than PAN, a valid self-attested passport. A valid self-attested passport. So what is the document required for a non-resident taxable person? A valid self-attested passport along with the application. Of course, along with the application of registration at the time of, or you can say along with the application of registration, this person has to submit a valid self-attested passport copy. This is one different point. And in fact, within 5, not within, in fact, at least 5 days prior. This is document for non-resident taxable person. Now, what is the validity of certificate of registration? What is the validity of certificate of registration? Now, normally the registration certificate is valid for lifetime, just like my PAN number is valid for lifetime. So registration certificate is also valid for lifetime. But since these non-resident and casual taxable persons do not work, keeping in mind continuing of business, so their certificate validity has a limit. What is that limit? So what is the validity of this registration certificate? It is earlier of the following. Earlier of what? So for example, as a casual taxable person, I am applying for registration only for 30 days. So earlier of what? The period specified in my application, or maximum 90 days, or days from the effective date of registration. Now effective date depends when, as per the provisions. So when you are applying, are you applying within the time limit or not? 90 days from the effective date of registration. Now whichever is earlier. So for example, I have myself asked for 45 days. For example, it's example only that I have myself asked for 45 days. So which is the earlier date? 90 days, 45 days. Answer is 45 days. So this is the validity. If I am asking for 145 days, then what is the maximum limit? 90. So one thing is sure that in no case the validity can exceed 90 days. In fact, it can be less than 90 days, but it cannot exceed the 90 days limit. I hope you have understood my point. But extension is also given. Extension is also given. And if the proper officer thinks fit or deems fit, if the proper officer deems a fit case for extension, then extension can also be given for a period of another 90 days. Extension for a further period of 90 days. Further, that means over and above 90 days, another 90 days. But that is maximum. 90 original and maximum 90 extended. Okay, so the total becomes 180. And if you need extension for more than 180, then government says that why then you are saying yourself as a casual taxable person. If you are taking the registration certificate more than 6 months, then you should apply normally rather than as a casual taxable person or non-resident taxable person. So this is the maximum limit. 90 original and another 90, that is the maximum. I hope you are understanding my point. Third, special provision. So why I am saying these are special? Because this validity is lifetime in case of all other persons except in case of non-resident taxable person and casual taxable person. Now third point is also special. Advance tax has to be paid. Payment of advance GST. Payment of advance GST liability. So, for example, this is my original validity. So what I should do, whether as a casual taxable person or non-resident taxable person, I should estimate my GST liability. It is only estimation, not actual, but I should estimate GST liability for the period for which certificate is required. So if I require the certificate for 45 days, I should estimate my on an average GST liability. If I need this certificate for 90 days, I should estimate my GST liability, and whatever is that, I should pay it in advance. Estimate and has to be paid at the time of submitting the application. I have to pay advance GST liability at the time of submission of application. This is special. It is not required in case of other persons. Similarly, if I need extended period of validity, again I should estimate. If I need extended validity period, then again I should estimate GST liability. I should estimate GST liability for the extended period for which certificate is required. So this is new word, for the extended period, beyond 90 days you can say, or whether beyond 90 days, beyond 40 days, beyond 30 days, it depends. What is the validity of my original certificate, registration certificate, for the extended period for which certificate is required. Again, I should pay that as also as advance tax. It is necessary. I should pay and has to be paid. At the time of submitting the application for extended validity. Now this is a new point. You don't need it in case of other businesses. And now another next point is that you have to submit this application before expiry of original certificate. Note. I should write here.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, can we move to the next slide actually? The third point
Yes,
slide.
yes.
Okay, sir.
Now, when I wanted to submit the extension of validity certificate, the application for extended validity must be submitted before expiry of initial validity. The application of extended validity, otherwise it has no use if you are submitting after expiry. It must be submitted before the expiry of initial validity. This is another point. Submit on time. In fact, before time, that's it. Now, as far as advanced GST was concerned, now it's a normal discussion. Actually, when you take registration, by default, 3 accounts will be opened in your name. 3 accounts will be opened by default in your name. If you are taking GST registration, one account will be known as electronic cash ledger. One account will be known as electronic cash ledger. Electronic credit ledger. Electronic liability register. Let me discuss only these two for the time being. What is this cash ledger? It is that tax which you are paying. So here it is depositing GST will reflect in this account on the credit side. So whatever advance tax you are depositing, that will be reflected in this account. So whatever advance tax you are depositing, that will be reflected in the electronic cash ledger, and so that you can use it. That was the not actual GST liability, that is only estimated GST liability. So in future when you will pay actual, then you don't need to pay again, you have to use that balance. It is electronic cash ledger. And what is this electronic credit ledger? It is that where input tax credit on purchases is allowed. Now, not every tax which I pay on my purchase is allowed to me as tax credit. There are some rules and regulations to be checked. But if any tax paid on my purchases is legally allowed as per the provisions of law as my input tax credit, so that in future when I will pay the tax, when I will further sell the product, I can use that much tax paid. Basically, what is this? For example, today I have purchased something from this person and I paid him rupees 12,000 as tax on my purchase. So right now I am a purchaser. This person purchases, but this person will further sell also, for example. So this person becomes seller. And now the tax on supply is equal to rupees 19,000. 90,000 who will pay? This person will pay 90 to me. This person, Mr. X, will pay 90 to Y. But Y will not pay 19 to the government, because Y will say that out of 19, already tax on my purchases is 12. So Y will actually pay to the government only how much? 7,000. This Y will pay to government. Okay, so what is this ITC? It is this 12,000 rupees. If this tax on purchase is allowed to me as tax credit, it will be shown in my electronic credit ledger, so that in future I can use this balance also. I hope you have understood little bit of these accounts: electronic cash ledger, electronic credit ledger. In electronic cash ledger, whatever cash transactions are between me as a person and GST department, Goods and Services Tax Department, Department of Indirect Tax and Indirect Taxes, that will be reflected in this electronic cash ledger, and whatever tax on purchases which I have paid and which are allowed to me as ITC, input tax credit, that will be reflected in my electronic credit ledger. So the point here is to discuss is that one line, that advance tax will be reflected in electronic cash ledger. That's it. This is what my section 27 is. I hope it is clear. Let me share with you the act, what the actual provision says. If you remember what I have discussed is with the help of this section, same thing. The certificate of registration, this is section 27 subsection 1, it's only for your knowledge, otherwise I have already discussed that. The certificate of registration issued to a casual taxable person or a non-resident taxable person shall be valid for the period specified in the application for registration or 90 days from the effective date of registration, which I raised earlier. And one new point which I have not discussed, I have not written, is that this person can make taxable supplies only after issuance of certificate of registration. Without getting this certificate, this non-resident taxable person or a casual taxable person, they should not supply those goods or services for which they are asking for certificate of registration. So this is the new point which you should also know, that taxable supply must happen only after issuance of certificate of registration. Next point is also we have covered that the period of 90 days can be extended by another 90 days, maximum 90 days. Similarly, advance tax is also written here, that I should make advance tax payment equal to the estimated GST liability. Say, and another point is also saying, in case you want extension in this certificate, then you have to additionally deposit the advance tax for the extended validity. And whatever amount you deposit, that will be reflected on the credit side of electronic cash ledger. That's it. That's all. So that was only to show you the act. Now let me come back to again my notepad. Okay, so the one point which I forgot to write and you should note down is that non-resident taxable person and casual taxable person, they should make supply only after issuance of, that is why 5 days before commencing the business is required. Make supply only after the issuance of certificate of registration. And now section 28, amendment in registration. Now changes are bound to happen, it can happen. It does not mean that the mobile number which I have given 2 years ago will remain same. It can change. It's possible that my email ID has to be changed. It's possible that I want to change the name of my business, name of my shop. So amendment is a general process, there is no problem. But department says inform the department. Inform us if you want to make a change. So inform the proper officer about any change in registration particulars. About any change in registration particulars within 15 days of such change. Within 15 days of such change through the application. Otherwise, how will you inform? So you have to submit the application within 15 days of such change to the proper officer. So whether you are a registered person or a person who has been assigned UIN. So whether you are of course, you must be a registered person if you have been allotted the registration number. So whether you are a registered person or you are a person who has been assigned UIN. So inform the department within 15 days that what change is taking place. Now, when you have submitted the application of change, the next question, you should wait, or whether wait or not, but ultimately you should know whether the approval or rejection has happened.
Sir, the previous slide one, sir. Sorry.
Yeah, please.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So approval of rejection of amendment particulars. So whatever you have uh, written in your application for change, proper officer has to take a decision. So whether proper officer has to approve or reject, that is to be seen. So it depends on the proper officer. But there are some points to be noted. First, no application of change can be rejected without, first point, officer cannot reject the application, can be rejected without giving you the chance, without you have been given a chance to explain the change, without reasonable opportunity of being heard is given. This is first point. Second, in some particulars like change in mobile number, change in email ID, why do you need the approval of the officer? It's not required. I can change my mobile number through OTP, they will verify. So there are some particulars, in some specified particulars, in some specified particulars, in some specified particulars, the approval of proper officer is not required. By default, these will be changed. The approval of proper officer is not required. Second, no change will be treated as effective prior to the date when you submitted the application. No change will be treated as effective prior to the date of submitting application. Now, for example, let me explain this third point. Second December 20, some change happened. Some change happened on 2nd December 20. I filled the application on 5th December 20. Application I submitted through online portal on 5th December 20. So as per this provision, this change will be treated as effective from 5th December. Am I right or not? As per this point, though the change has happened on 2nd December, but since I informed to the department on 5th December, which is 15 days of changing something, the change is effected from 5th December. If I want the change to be effected before 5th December, an order of commissioner is required. So no change will be effective prior to the date of submitting the application except on the order of the commissioner, except on the order of the commissioner. This is the main point. And commissioner doesn't order for normal cases. There must be some special consideration. So this is the provision that every change will be treated as effective not from the date of change, from the date of submitting the application. However, if the commissioner's order mentions with reasons in writing that why the change should be effected before the date of submitting the application, then it is allowed. And the last point is approval or rejection. Deemed approval or rejection. Same is the case, just like granting the application of registration. If this change, if this amendment is approved, or rejected, if the amendment is approved or rejected, of course, under SGST Act or UT-GST Act, by default, it is deemed to be approved or rejected under Central Act also, CGST Act. This is what section 28 is, amendment in registration particulars. Let me share with you the website, or not website, let me share with you the act so that I can show you that what provisions we have discussed. Section 28, subsection 1, that I should inform the changes in the prescribed manner. So what is that prescribed manner? I told you that the time limit is 15 days, because when you see the word prescribed, then you have to read the rules. So there is no need for you to read all the procedures. So I am telling you those rules which are relevant and those points which are relevant. That is 15 days. Similarly, officer can approve or reject. This also I have discussed. And any approval or rejection under state is by default assumed as approval under the CGST Act also. That's all from my side. And these are the only 3 sections which we have discussed today. 26, deemed registration. 27, special provisions related to CRTP, CTP, casual taxable person, and NRTP, non-resident taxable person. And section 28 talks about 28 was what? Deemed registration, casual taxable person, and 28 is amendment in registration. And now we are left with 2 sections, 29 and 30. Then our registration will be over. Suspension or cancellation of registration and revocation of cancellation. So that I will discuss with you in the next class. That's all from my side. Goodbye.